Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the 220th edition of Cinema Effect. I'm Zach, and I'm joined by the qualified architect himself, Jaden.
That's a lie.
Is it not? Is it?
I have a bachelor's of design.
So what does that mean? How do you become a
to
qualified
become
architect?
a qualified architect, I need to do 2 years of the master, quite a bit of work experience, and then sit a couple tests and then a board examination.
That's boring.
Yeah, no, it's a long path, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, well, no. What's the title in which I can sort of boil down your achievement to that sounds decent as a Cinema Effect nickname?
Draftsman is the title that people of my level are given in the job, or now it's more kindly referred to as building designer, because draftsman makes it seem like a bit lower, but now you're a building designer.
I feel like draftsman sort of works better as a nickname.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. No, it does. Yes, 100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Our building... But, like, are you a qualified... So you're a qualified draftsman?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah?
Because, like, anyone can be a draftsman. You don't need the qualification. But, like, I am... I guess, yeah, I do have the bachelor's to say I am, but...
You're a qualified... Yeah. All right. Yeah. Well, do you hate that?
Do I hate that? Nickname. Well, I hate that you're revealing personal little parts of my life that I wish to keep hidden, but, fuck it. It is what it is.
So you... Oh, okay. Well, it's done now. We just explained what a draftsman is to everyone. So that's all over. I mean, I call Fitzy the, Irish. He's Irish.
Yeah, no, we've referred to me studying architecture for quite a while, so it's fine.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, it was my way of congratulating you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
How was the graduation ceremony?
Graduation was actually pretty decent. It went way longer than I thought the ceremony would, because, like, it's listed as only an hour. It went for, like, fucking 2 hours. But, like, I was told earlier in the year, like, by one of my friends, she's like, oh, graduating's fun. I was like, how fun can it be? But, like, it actually is a decent time, you just kind of sit there and see the other people go up, and then you have a little bit of chat and a bit of a drink and eat afterwards, and then, it's exciting to cosplay Harry Potter for a day when you get the fucking robes and the hat,
Yeah, sure.
So, I don't know, it actually was kind of fun, and it was nice to see some people from my own course, so.
Nice. Okay. That's really cool. How similar was it to, like, I don't know, high school? I draw a parallel for myself.
So it wasn't. So, like, how we had two, where we had the one at school and then we had the dinner. It was nothing like the dinner. It was more like the one at the school where you just kind of go up and receive your award.
Yes. Okay. Was it there? Was it at that same joint? I don't know if I can say the name of it. I don't know if I've gone too far.
It was at the campus I attended. Yes.
Oh, of course. Yeah, obviously. Yeah. Okay.
Because you know how they have a pretty decent, little thing there, the hall.
That's right. Yeah. They happen to have that pretty close by.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Oh, okay. All right. Well, I'm very happy about that. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Cinema Effect, the podcast, where we review and talk about a different movie every single Monday. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts. This week, the movie we're reviewing is indeed American Gangster, which opened in the US on November 2nd, 2007. It was directed by Sir Ridley Scott. It is a crime drama, and the synopsis says, an outcast New York City cop is charged with bringing down Harlem drug lord Frank Lucas, whose real life inspired this partly biographical film. Basically, all the trivia was about how this wasn't really accurate.
No, I couldn't imagine this being very accurate.
Yeah.
I feel like, as of recent, I've seen so many, like, threads on, like, Reddit and Twitter, like, just basically dismantling every biography and, like, how fucking false they all are. So at this point, I just do not trust the label at all.
I agree. Yeah.
It's all just fiction at the end of the day.
That's right. Based on is the key part of the
based
phrase.
On, inspired,
Inspired.
It's all these little tricky words they use to get away with it.
Exactly. I don't really care though. I don't watch movies to see, exact retellings of things perfectly done. I don't give a shit.
But that's the whole draw of biography. Is that, like, fact is, like, more enticing than fiction. It's like this is crazy and it actually happened, but then you're like, oh well, hold on, I'm looking and it didn't actually happen. So
yeah. You're googling and watching it.
So you're like the whole draw is meant to be that this is so crazy it happened in real life, and then you're like, oh well, it didn't happen in real life.
Yeah, I don't disagree. There's a bit of manipulation there. in terms of trying to get the audience in. For me personally, I don't know. Like if I want something that's really, even documentaries can be skewed, and like I like watching
Well, that's
documentaries. I'd sort of watch them instead.
yeah. Documentaries are skewed because of perspective, not because of information, though.
Yeah, and what information's presented, and
Yeah,
potentially
sure,
information being
yeah.
omitted. But yes, you're totally correct. Yeah, I don't know. I sort of just always take them with a grain of salt, so I don't mind.
Mhm.
I don't mind a bit of fiction. I personally, it doesn't bother me. Is all I'm saying. Like, I don't sit there and go, oh, well, that's bullshit. Why do I watch this movie? It's like, no, I watch the movie because I want to get immersed. The same reason I watch any other movie. You know what I mean?
I
Doesn't
think
really
the
bother
issue
me.
is more comes from biographies that like paint people as better than what they actually were, and then like
Okay, yeah,
they leave out the bad stuff, obviously.
yeah. Which, yeah, probably happened here a little bit. Probably.
Yeah, yeah.
Jaden, what did you think of American Gangster?
As I was saying to you pre-show, I watched this pretty late last night after work, which is not the time of me if I can watching a 2.5 hour Ridley Scott joint. I
Yeah.
was dreading watching it, but like I saved it for myself. So like I knew what I was doing when I was leaving it for that time, but still I regret it. It ended up not being as bad of an experience as I thought. The first 20, 30 odd minutes were very hard for me to get into. Just because it was like a lot of character stuff and kind of essential. It was essential setup, but like it's kind of messy, I think. But then once you actually kind of get into the storyline, it needed itself up pretty fast, and it becomes a pretty decent kind of decent but standard, kind of gangster thing. But there is not really. It's hard to do gangster without doing standard because it is all just the same rise and fall,
Mm.
It's exceptionally star-studded, like just
Yeah.
beyond what I ever thought looking at the poster and like the synopsis and all that. So that was like really fun. And it ended up being pretty decent.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, look at that! Nice gift there.
Yeah, I can double park my coffees now.
Oh, lovely. Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Like, so why did you have a negative rap of this going in?
Because it's a 2 hour 40 minute Ridley Scott film.
That's it.
And like he's like the thing is I like him so much as a director when I look at his stuff, but then I also like just think I think of Black Hawk Down where I'm like, it was just boring, Black Hawk Down, like mainly. And I
Yeah.
kind of just always expect this, like, that has honestly become the baseline for me, which is strange considering, like, the great stuff he has done that I do love. But then, yeah, like, my baseline assumption for his movies is that they're going to be these kind of, like, just dull, long efforts.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Yeah. It's funny how
Um,
it does happen though for certain directors where you sort of just you find a baseline for them for some reason, even when it's not really fair. Like for my, I don't know. Like when I think of Ridley, I think of like The Last Duel for some reason, and I think of Kingdom of Heaven, both movies I really love, and
mm,
it's just like, but like, dude, I think Gladiator's boring, and we'll get to that on the show soon. But it's just
mm,
like, so it's not. I'm not without Ridley films. I think are boring too. Don't get me wrong, but um, I don't know. I just sort of still see him more positively, I guess, because I
yeah.
focus on these other ones.
Well, it's almost like my mind just completely omits the alien stuff that he's done whenever I see his name, because in my mind I'm just like, oh, this is the Black Hawk Down dude,
Well, this film and even Black Hawk Down is such a universe away from Alien,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's just like, and I mean, that speaks to the breadth of his filmography and his genre and everything. It's just he's all over the
But then
place.
I'm looking at some of the other stuff. I'm like, Body of Lies. I don't mind. It probably does edge on the boring side though. All the Money in the World is fine. Hannibal's pretty poor, to be honest. Thelma
Mm.
and Louise is a bit of fun. So like he does have like a
Mm.
pretty mixed response from me. Like that is probably more that is
Yeah,
obviously like more positive than negative, but like
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know what it is, man. It just
I reckon that's a pretty common response across the board. His filmography is just large enough, and like, well, I don't know if you've directed Alien and Thelma and Louise, I think that's all you need to know, really, like about running the gamut,
mm,
which he certainly has. Yeah, this was an interesting one for me. I really liked it. I did. There's a little something missing though. Maybe some more thematic depth would have been nice. some I don't know, some special sauce to really like elevate it to standout cinema status. It just liked a little something, a little juice. Um, I read Andy's full review on Letterboxd, and it's another case where I pretty much entirely agree with him, though, where I was pretty damn engaged by the parallel protagonist story when it got going. I agree. First 30 minutes was my weakest part for sure as well. I was just kind of like a bit lost. I was a little bit like trying to figure out, wait, what? So like Russell Crowe's taking a test? What? I don't know. Just kind of got lost on a few different things. It found its footing for me after that for sure. And then the following 2 hours, I was very engaged. I was very into it and very entertained consistently. But yeah, still nothing quite, I don't know, nothing quite worthy of reverence, though. You know what I mean? But, well, I don't think this is deserving of a classic status, and its IMDb score was higher than I expected after seeing it. But yeah, I don't know. And in an odd way, like it's funny, like in terms of you sort of briefly alluded to, and I'm sure we'll talk about this more of it, being a sort of standard gangster thing in some respects. And I think in an odd way, the title kind of reflects that, where it's just like the title kind of feels hollow to me. It feels like a placeholder that they went with, but then they realized that, oh, wow, this title's actually available. So we'll just use it,
Sure.
It feels like the title doesn't represent anything to do with the actual story in any meaningful way. It's about gangsters in America. Okay, Well, I know you could probably. I know. It sounds like you could probably do that for like a ton of titles out there, but I don't know. I don't necessarily think that's true. Like, even if you look at, look at fucking what's a random movie. If you look at June, and it's like, what does the title mean? Well, they're in desert dunes. Like, yeah, okay, sure, you can make that argument, but the title's more than that. It's about Arrakis. It's about the history, the Fremen, their culture. You can read into the title in ways that sort of make it feel like it's worthy of its title. And this movie, I'm like, American Gangster. That's sure what Denzel Washington was. That's basically it. So anyway, in an odd way. Whoa. Or it should have been like American. What was he? Was he a DEA? No, he was DEA agent. I guess
he was just a cop.
American cop. Yeah. Boring. So yeah, I don't know. There's a little something missing, but I did actually find it quite an entertaining movie overall, for sure, though. In terms of these parallels, these similarities, I was curious. Andy drew a few comparisons in his review that we'll get to later as well. But like to you, as you're watching it and as it finished, was there any particular overlap you saw with other movies? Was there any particular comparisons coming to mind for you as you're watching it of like certain, like maybe this movie feels familiar to this movie or just things you felt like you've seen before? Because I feel like you can draw some comparisons.
I don't know about specifics, especially off the top of my head, but like the gangster story is pretty much always the same. It is always a rise and fall of something. And like, I think you'd be hard pressed to find something that isn't just a fall or that is just a rise or whatever. I think even Godfather Part 1, if you want to read it from Michael's lens, I think he still has a little bit of a fall at the end. So like it's well actually it's not it's the fall of his kind of is his standing as a person rather than his standing economically or whatever.
Yeah, morality for sure.
Yeah, morality. That's the word. Yeah. So like, I don't know. It is always just it is the same story, just laid out differently, and I think that's why someone like Scorsese is successful at it because it's it's his bread and butter, and he can do it in phenomenal ways. Just on that, I saw that this is written by the same guy that did Irishman, which was interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, in terms of specifics, I can't really think of anything in it now, but it's just the core story, which isn't an issue because that is what the gangster story is. But it just is.
Yeah, that's right. It does feel very familiar. It feels very Godfather-y, probably in the first half to me. Just in terms of establishing. Probably more Goodfellas actually, in terms of just establishing Denzel Washington as a gangster and he's building up his reputation, all that kind of shit. Yeah, stuff you
Well,
definitely see
what's
in
another
multiple
Robin Hood
movies.
type gangster that like I feel like I could like there's one on the tip of my tongue, but I can't think of it. But, like he gives back to the community and the community loves him and shit.
Yeah, that does sound familiar. God,
Um,
I don't know. Did you get the sense, like the strong sense, he was really giving back to the community in this?
no, it's all for show. Like it's
Yeah,
yeah.
I agree with that. Because they kind of say, oh, like Harlem's got his back. He looks out for Harlem. They say that a few times, and I know that's what the whole thing is that's what his mentor did, Bumpy. But they didn't really show that. So it felt hollow to me, which I thought might have been intentional. It wasn't a criticism. It was more like they say this, but I never really am showing that. Although maybe it's in the goddamn director's cut. Who knows?
Any attempt to humanize like gangsters, I think, is like hollow because just these are some of the worst people in the world. Like just so like
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
like anything that alludes to them being oh they're actually quite good for the community, like it's just bullshit, because they're just terrible people. So like that's why I took that as at face value rather than like thinking he's actually decent.
Yeah. No, I totally get you. You're seeing right through him. I don't disagree. Yeah, I think you can compare this film to Heat in some ways in terms of the parallel, the cop robber thing dynamic going
Being
on.
pretty standard and boring. Yeah.
Wow, good job. No, it's actually no. He shits on this in terms of like that actual character dynamic, and it just sort of I don't know. Particularly stood out to me mainly at the end, when they meet. Right at the end when they're on the church steps and they're like actually
Yes.
Russell
Yeah.
Crowe and Denzel like lock eyes for the first time. It kind of right in that moment struck me. I'm like, oh yeah, these guys haven't met. That's kind of wild. And that had a sort of Heat effect. Not nearly as effective because Heat, they meet sort of 2/3 the way through the movie-ish, and it's sort of then that sort of evolves into its own sort of new climax. It sort of keeps going from that. So this is kind of a more of a limp resolution, especially when it doesn't function in the same way when Denzel doesn't even know Russell Crowe is after him. You know what I mean? Like Denzel's just doing his thing, navigating his little drug world, trying to get the drugs out of Thailand, all that kind of shit that he's doing. Russell Crowe's after him the whole movie, and that side of it's it's definitely interesting in its own right. But it's not a cat and mouse game per se because it's just like Denzel's in his own world.
Is it
Russell's
in
trying to catch
Vietnam or
him,
Thailand?
and then he caught him. The drugs are in Thailand. The drug poppy field that they go to are in Thailand.
Okay.
But then Vietnam, of course, the Vietnam War is a prominent aspect as well.
Yeah.
I didn't know. Yeah, because he goes to Bangkok where his cousin is, and then
Yes, right. You're right. He does call. Yeah,
they head into the Thai jungle. But I didn't know about this whole drug problem in Vietnam. That was interesting. That was something I learned from the movie, assuming it's based in reality, is that these US soldiers heading over there had their narcotics issues as a result.
Thunder?
Yeah, I don't remember that from it. Were they doing coke and shit?
Yeah, don't you remember like when they stumble into like the militia village and it's like this whole like drug operation?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, but like US, I don't remember. I don't know. Maybe it's probably in the movie. But like, yeah, US soldiers. I mean, I think they said. Did they say like 1/3 in the movie? I think they said 1/3 of US soldiers were users in Vietnam. I was like, really? That's wild. That's high.
Wait till you see Australia's statistics, mate.
What, in Nam or in general?
No, just in general life.
Oh Jesus. Yeah, actually that's true. Yeah. So yeah, maybe it's just an accurate reflection of everyone. Yeah. Anyway, that was something I learned that I thought was interesting. But yeah, I don't know. In terms of I get what you're saying about you don't want to humanize these gangsters too much, and I respect that. But when you got something as
I think
good,
it's impossible to humanize gangsters.
But this is my thing. But when you've got Denzel Washington in this role, like, how can you not like this guy?
Because the first thing you see him do is kill someone.
Yeah, but I still don't care because he's cool. But he's so cool though, Jaden.
And he destroys his community that he insists he's saving, that he's helping out, and he's flooding the streets with the most addicting drug he can.
Yeah, that's actually totally true. Yeah.
And he's just behind police and just doing the worst stuff. Like just statistically, killing one person puts you pretty high up on the list of terrible people in human history. And then
Sure.
like as soon as you start adding a second and a third, and then you start adding the drugs, like you go pretty fucking high into that top 1.1, 0.1% of terrible
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
So like he is just a terrible person, and like I just don't think it's possible to humanize him at all.
Yeah. Okay. No, yeah, you're a good person, Jane, and God bless you. I liked him. Yeah, that's interesting. Did they ever really explain how he was able to sell? Because someone, I think on Russell Crowe, it might have even been Russell Crowe, I can't remember. Someone in the movie says, like, how can this guy sell the best the product twice as good on the market as anyone else and sell it for half the price?
He's
And
cutting
I'm
out the
like,
middleman.
but that has that big of an effect?
He doesn't have to pay anyone else other than him and his family, I guess. And he's
Yeah,
transporting it himself,
that is the reason, I suppose.
using the money from Bumpy, I guess, as a starting point, and then like
Yeah,
I think it's a thing of like undercutting the market. Like there was never a need to sell it at such a high price, maybe.
yeah, right. Okay, yeah, and he shifted. Yeah, okay, he totally shifts the market by doing that. That's interesting. Yeah, just because. Okay, that makes sense when you put it like that. All that's there. It's just as he was doing, I'm kind of like, wouldn't you sell this shit for the same price? And you're right. Cutting out that middleman, dude, increase those margins. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Sell that, even if it's for the same price. Like you sell that blue on the corner, and it's like same price but twice as good or whatever. That's a pretty compelling offer that I'm now convincing myself I want some, apparently. But yeah, he has that goddamn Walter White blue stuff. So it's like, damn, that's pretty good. Anyway, Denzel, is he not as entertaining as ever in this movie?
Yeah. It's just always just enigmatic and just lovely to watch.
He really is. But you never lost sight of how a piece of shit he was, but you were still entertained.
Yeah. I still like watching him, but piece of shit character, obviously. I think I don't know. I think it's interesting seeing him in such a overtly kind of gangsterish bad role. I don't think I've really seen him in like Training Day. Is like you have this farce on for half of it.
Yes.
And then like in something else like no, in something equally as ultra violent like Equalizer, he's the good guy. So like I don't think I've really seen him in like a having his fun as the bad guy. So that was fun.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. It felt very Denzel, but yeah, not quite. I don't think he's quite fulfilled that full villain role from the beginning. You're right. It's funny. I know everyone loves Training Day. Yeah, I'm not. I don't love it either. But dude, I don't just find that his whole speech at the end, like it's not
Training
Day
or this
Training Day.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I'm not taken away from it. I find it kind of cringe now, just because everyone loves it and everyone went sharp about it. Like 20 years later, over 20 years later. But like I probably would enjoy it if everyone didn't love it so much. Now I just find it annoying that everyone likes it so much. But then when you get into this movie, and it's just you get him when he's mad in this movie, it's so good, man. It's just like I'm just smiling so often in those scenes where he's just like going off on someone or any business meeting he has or anything like that. It's pretty great.
He has a pretty banging speech at the start. Not at the start, but like somewhere near the start. That I was meant to try and remember, but I can't recall quite. I think it was about. Did he have any like kind of? Did any monologues stick out to you? Sorry, maybe just
no.
Okay.
Well, he gave that one speech, sort of where he explained. I think they had the shot of the Statue of Liberty in there, and then he's walking. And he just sort of like, yeah. There's that one bit where it's not very long though. Maybe I don't know if it's the one you're thinking of. He sort of just gives the lay of the land of like he sort of lays out his morals.
I think it might have been that if you're talking about that actually. Maybe.
Yeah. But it's like the dialogue. It's all great when you're watching it, but it's like it's nothing that's going to stick with you really, because he's just saying shit.
I mean, I'm already forgetting it.
Yeah, exactly, 100%. But I have too, and he's saying, I don't know, he's saying shit like, I don't know what he's saying. So some bullshit to the effect of like, this is the way the streets are, and we're predators, and I don't know, whatever, something like that. We're taking this, we're doing our thing. We're kings of the jungle or whatever, some shit like that. But I don't know, just the way he says, like my man being his sort of catchphrase in the movie was so great because and the way that he was able to deliver it in like 5 completely different contexts in the movie, and they all mean something different, was just great. When he was, he uses it in a way you'd expect, where it's like approval, like my man, and then there was when he had the meeting with oh my god, I don't know what's the actor's name, the dude from Jerry Maguire, whatever his name is, something Cuban Jr. or whatever.
Oh, Cuba Gooding Jr. Is it?
Yes, Cuba Gooding Jr. Thank you.
Yeah,
oh my god, exactly. When he sits down and has the meeting with him in his club, and like he's being a piece of shit, telling him to get out. That was a good scene because it evolved nicely. But and then he says, and it ends with him saying, "My man." Like he when he said it that time, he was like, "I'm gonna fuck you up." Like, you're a piece of shit. So I just found that great the whole time. And dude, him running around calling people simpletons, simple Simons is what he said. You're simple Simon ass. I was just laughing. I was just laughing so hard. You probably caught me like with a big grin on my face half the time watching him in this movie, Then I guess the other side of him in the movie is Russell Crowe, who I feel like doesn't really get parts like this anymore. It's been a minute.
Yeah. I don't really know what he's been doing recently, to be honest.
He was in that. I feel like he's dabbling in your genre. He was in the Pope's Exorcist or whatever. Oh, in Thor. I forgot about that. He's doing a couple like smaller horror shit.
Yeah.
Kind of interesting.
He was has he been in any of the recent Ridley stuff?
No.
Ended his partnership with him?
I think so, seemingly. Yeah. What do you think of Russell Crowe in this? It just struck me because he is like sort of the leading good guy of this movie.
No, he's not a good guy.
Is he not?
No, I think the ending text proves that when he fucking says that he becomes a defense attorney and then just pretty much exonerates fucking Frank of all his crimes.
Well, that's definitely a strong conversation to have there. But like taking that out for a second, because I do want to talk about that. Like, do you not think throughout the movie though?
No, because even his wife points it out to him, like, he puts on this farce of like being, righteous, but then like he fails to do so in other aspects of life. He's only doing the right thing so he can put up a show of doing the right thing, but he's actually not the greatest person. I don't think we're showing him not being a great person, but I think that's that dialogue with his wife is like the indicator that he wasn't.
Yeah, that's a bit of a telling, not showing thing that they do, because they show him sleeping around a little bit, but
no, he's single. He can do what he wants.
Yeah, exactly. He wasn't married at that point, so it's like we sort of take and he admits it's true, like he was sleeping around when they were married, but we don't see that. So yeah, you're right. It's a little bit. I don't know. Maybe that had a bit of a less impact on me as a result of that, because I kind of just thought he was great.
When
I don't know.
I think that combined with the ending text, and then just some other things thrown throughout of just him like kind of reluctantly being good. I think like when Denzel is offering him at the end, would you make that same choice if you turned it down? He's saying no, but this time it feels extremely performative as saying no.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, and I don't know. He hangs out with the Italian gangsters as well.
True.
Yes. Or his mates, which is kind of weird. I know they're childhood friends and stuff, but anyway, I liked Russell Crowe in this movie. I was just struck by it because it's been almost 17 years since this movie came out, and Russell Crowe's just had this weird career arc, it's seemingly since then, where like at that time it felt like he belonged in those bigger parts, and I don't know, maybe it's just his own choice, maybe it's just, I don't know, I've got no idea what it is. Maybe he's just not as interested in those parts anymore, or he's obviously an older dude and all that now, I don't know, but it feels like he takes on either smaller movies or more supporting roles than other things, and so going back to him sort of being the leading guy, was sort of a little bit of a mindset shift of like, oh yeah, he used to do that, and but I thought he did a decent job. Nothing that like blew my mind personally. I think he's a quality actor, but I feel like I've seen him do better stuff as well. You know what I mean?
Nice guys.
Nice Guys for sure. Oh yeah, dude. Oh my god. Where's the sequel to that?
I don't know. I think Shane Black's in like Director Hell, isn't he?
Oh, maybe.
Like he followed up with like Predator, and he just hasn't got anything since.
Yeah. Anything else? I don't know. Like it was. What do you think about him becoming a lawyer in general? Because that was kind of it's very lightly touched on subplot.
Yeah, that's an interesting switch. You know, I never got the indication that he was like the most intelligent of detectives.
Right.
You know, like it was
Neither.
fine. But then, like I don't know, to like that is a significant switch to do.
Definitely. So yeah, you're right. I sort of took him more as like, he. We sort of commented on how we felt about him as a person, but like in terms of he was very steadfast in his beliefs of morality in terms of on the force, corruption, and that kind of thing. So I took that as his number one trait, and I interpreted him as being determined as well. But yeah, you're right. Like raw intelligence, I didn't think he was like some sort of goddamn Sherlock Holmes out there. So like him passing the bar, you know, in his spare time felt like quite a significant achievement. One that I feel like there was his character. I don't know. I didn't really get from his character that he'd be able to do that, but he did.
I mean, maybe he did take the money, and that's how he was able to pay through law school. You know,
maybe
that's what the film's alluding to.
Well, that's confusing,
and that's why he represented Frank Lucas.
Well, that makes a bit of sense. I don't know. That obviously, I mean, when you put it like that, but it doesn't really make any sense because I feel like his whole arc is built around the idea like the fact that he didn't take that unmarked money is like kind of the foundation of his whole arc in the movie.
Yeah.
So like if you like start challenging that, it sort of falls apart. But yeah, I don't know. Now I'm sort of going through this, I'm kind of like, yeah, I don't know if the film presented these characterizations, or particularly Russell Crowe's. What's that? Richie's his name, I think. I don't know if it like presented that characterization in the strongest way. Where I guess I don't know if I was taking away from him what I should be. You know, because these are interesting things, facts about him that are kind of just there, but don't really leave a lasting impression. In terms of Richie becoming a defense lawyer, being in real life the bloody godfather to Frank Lucas's son and all this shit. Did this like come really out of nowhere to you at the end? It just felt like
that's why I feel like this has to be one of those things we were talking about just a bit earlier with biographies about omitting facts. Like there has to be like a way like more corrupt side of Richie than what we're shown. Because like you don't just make that flip suddenly. Like what he just had a great chat with him, you know, where he exposed all these cops, so he makes his flip. Like no, that's bullshit, man. Like it's something more's going to be there, and they've left out something. I feel like.
Yeah, it feels like it was trying to represent like how close they became, but did so in a way that sort of makes you question everything you saw about Richie's integrity. It was just kind of odd. Yeah. And I think you're right about that in terms of real life. It sort of makes you think like, well, then did the rest of the film portray him too positively? It also makes me think, are there facts left out of like that actually, if you break down the real life timeline of it, it actually makes sense. Because, you know, like the legal case evolved. Like, for example, like maybe it evolved to the point where like a few years down the road, like the case against Frank Lucas actually did become somewhat unfair for XYZ reason or whatever. And like you could actually make that argument. I don't know. And then like Richie had to step in, and then that actually was the right thing to do. And that, you know what I mean? But like there was just some facts, whatever it was, missing to make it feel like that was appropriate. Because now I just sort of feel like it's odd he became a defense lawyer for Frank Lucas. You know, you spent the whole movie trying to get him, and he got him. And I thought it was cool they teamed up at the end to then like have the ultimate stand against corruption. That was, you know, if anything that should be like, and I think it is meant to be like the ultimate like theme of the movie, or the ultimate sort of just driving, you know, feeling that the movie leaves you with is that, you know, sense of like corruption, not good, you know, everyone comes together to take it down. And that's like the final sort of action of the story.
Well,
but instead it adds this little caveat to it that I don't like.
I guess that feeds into the probably proper way to read it, in that in this drug war, the criminals aren't necessarily like the worst. You know, it is the, and that's probably why he starts like I guess like you're meant to read into that. That's why he starts befriending him, becoming his his mate, because he has that little line like in their discussion where in the last like 15 minutes, Frank Lucas mentions something about like helping, protecting, or whatever, or just like being part of it, and that he is what he is, and it's nothing's going to change or whatever, and like it's better him out there or whatever. I don't know, maybe it resonated with him, and he realized that the government or like the task force were equally as bad or some shit like that.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
And then they teamed up and took everyone down.
Yeah, but like I mean, like
Frank
it extends further, and that's why he's done the full flip. Maybe.
Yeah, possibly.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it just leaves everything very muddled after having it so clean,
Yeah, which is a shame. And I feel like they were close to having it clean too. They were close. It was just a weird little detail to throw in.
Sorry, was that straw scratching terrible?
That wasn't too bad.
Okay.
I mean, it was definitely there, but
Yeah, you usually unmute it, but it just couldn't be fucked that time.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. The characters, I mean, just that scene, there's so much in that, like, it's like the last 10 minutes of the movie, and there's so much there, actually. Like it's probably
the most dense section. Yeah.
Definitely. And the most like to really talk about and get into, just because it's sort of where the most actual meat in like the story and the characters in terms of like making up your mind about them, where it all really is for the most part. And for that reason, I thought it was a good scene. Like, I really did like it. Andy said something. I got his review here. It was it sort of, I compared it to Heat earlier. It had this interesting quality to it. Andy said, it didn't really feel like a serious confrontation, but an unexpected change of momentum towards the end was especially rewarding when American Gangster was based on a true story. And he's referring to the fact that so they sit down in that court, that room or whatever in prison, and they have a chat. Frank Lucas offers to bribe Richie one more time. Richie refuses, and then they agree, you know what, let's just agree to team up, and Frank becomes the informant, and they basically take down everyone they can. That was an unexpected change of momentum for me that we've been talking about. But was it something like that actual, like, as the scene progressed, because it sort of, the scene very much had a beginning, middle, and end in terms of it felt like it very much came to that in the end, where like as the scene was starting, I didn't see that was where it was going to go. Was that for you like a pleasant surprise, like a pleasant shift in like, oh, that's cool? Or would you have rather it sort of, go the way you're probably more expecting, where it's, I don't know, Frank goes to jail or something? It does just very much change the tone of the end.
Yeah, I think I enjoyed it as like a story. As I enjoyed it as like a writing thing, and as a story direction. But then, yeah, in terms of what it then contributes to all the other stuff we're talking about the morality and all that shit. Yeah, probably models it a bit too much. But yeah, like as something that does kind of distinguish it a bit from. Well, actually, not even. I guess even other gangster movies quite often end with like an informant or like a big rat out. Goodfellas and such.
Yeah, it's not usually the main character though, is it?
I mean, in Goodfellas it is.
Is it? Oh, Henry Hill, does he? Oh shit! God,
not Robbie. The other, what's the other actor that Ray Liotta is his character?
Yeah, Henry Hill. Yeah. Oh, he rats on everyone as an informant in the end.
Yeah, he gets. Wait, we did Goodfellas, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, you were just asking. Yeah, he gets put in like witness protection, and he full rats everyone, doesn't he?
He does get put in witness protection. Yeah, he must. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, okay, well, that's not as unique as I thought then. I just wasn't in the moment, this wasn't where I was expecting it to go. Yeah. So I thought it was kind of cool.
I think given the relationship and given the dual perspective, it feels a lot more unique. Because, Goodfellas is obviously so rooted in within the crime side of it.
True. Yeah, like you actually see them come together like the actual
Yes,
the main
yeah.
characters the whole time. That's sort of the part. Yeah, no, that's a good point for sure. I still thought like the actual sit down between them, like Andy, I was sort of comparing it to Heat, like they finally sit down and meet over a cup of coffee kind of scene, you know. It wasn't nearly as good as Heat, obviously, but I still thought it was a strong scene in the movie. Good performances. I liked just how the actors were like shifting the cup of coffee between them. I don't know if you noticed, like as they were talking, they were like it was almost like representing like the change in the power dynamic as the conversation progressed, which I thought was pretty decent. I thought that was a cool detail. But yeah, no, I think we said all about it. It was pretty cool. I liked that scene. And then
the fact that we're showing them having a laugh as they're doing it, I guess, like is like the that I guess that's the seeds it sows for the later like relationship they have.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that we sort of don't see, but yeah. Frank does make a compelling pitch in that scene one more time when he says, you know, would you not take the unmarked money again? Like, would you do that again? And when you said about his answer being more performative that time, I agree. So that was a cool little wrinkle to the scene as well. He made that final offer. But he's a goody two shoes, you know, so he doesn't do it. But speaking of people who aren't goody two shoes, and the opposite, of course, the people that Richie hates most are corrupt cops, represented probably most by Josh Brolin in this movie, who I presume was a surprise to you as well.
Yeah, big surprise.
Yeah. I didn't expect him to be so prominent as well. He was like a decent supporting character.
Yeah.
And a piece of shit.
Two pretty big movies in 2007.
True. Very true. Yeah. He was such a slime ball in this. Did you just hate his character?
Not really. Until he shot the dog.
Yeah, that was terrible.
You know, yeah. But you know, like that's what you have to do. You need to shoot the dog to ensure that you're the bad guy, you know?
100%.
Yeah.
He was just so, I don't know. I thought his performance was great because I just hated him the whole time in like the great, perfect way. That whole scene when he comes out of the diner and then is condescending to Richie. Like, that was perfect, you know?
Yeah. Watching his car get blown up is nice.
That was very nice. Yeah. He's just that perfect foil, you know, because like he's the villain. He's the asshole to both of our main characters who are on completely different sides. So that worked nicely, I thought. And in the end, I don't know, I guess he shot himself because he was a pussy. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like I assume he just shot himself because he couldn't be stuffed going to prison and dealing with all of it.
Well, you know, bad shit happens to cops in prison, so.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually probably would have. Yeah, he'd probably be doomed anyway. That's true. Yeah. But still didn't face it like a man, so.
Yeah. Nice image though, with the cleaner working inside and yeah.
Oh, I thought I interpreted that as that was his wife.
Was it his wife?
I've got no idea. That's just how I read it.
Okay.
I just feel like that. I feel like that's more meaningful.
That's his wife?
Yeah. Because it's like she's so detached and then she can't hear because she's got the vacuum on and she's like, you know, he doesn't even talk to her. You know.
It's interesting that you see someone performing a traditional house role and you immediately attach the label of wife on it.
I should have seen that coming. Moving on. How dare you, sir?
Yeah.
Who are some other surprises?
Idris, right? Yeah,
100%.
And my boy gets done so dirty. Just, like that should have been the end of him. Like how do you kill someone in the middle of the street with fucking 200 witnesses and nothing, man? Like at all? Like what?
Everyone's scared, and it's Harlem. It's his land. It's his territory.
But like, shouldn't that be the indication that he's not taking care of Harlem if he's just happy to fucking just kill and inspire fear and just, you know, it's respect through fear, not through actual, like, you know.
Yes.
Like actual, like, you know, respect or whatever, love and all that other shit I guess talked about.
100%.
Yeah, I was very happy to see Idris and doing a great American accent, and you know, just he's so tall and you know, just domineering over the scene, and then he dies. It's tragic.
It was, but he was obviously great for his. I think he had like 3 scenes. He was great.
Yeah. And you straight away you know what he is and what the relationship is going to be. Yeah. So like I knew we were always building to his death, but like to have it happen.
Yeah, did you expect him to get shot like that? Like, did you actually expect him to pull? I didn't actually think he was going to pull the trigger. Yeah.
No. Yeah. Oh no! When he pulled the gun, I expected him to die, but like I wasn't expecting it to happen so earlier in that way.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Mm.
No, I still sort of. I'm so used to characters getting, the gun pointed at them, and then that, like, if the gun's pointed, from my point of view, if a character points a gun at another character and holds it there, that means they're not going to shoot it. Like, if they were going to shoot, they would just shoot out of nowhere. But he held it there and then he shot after like 10 seconds. So I was like, oh, good for you. That was cool. I'm just looking up here. You know that Godfather of Harlem show with Forrest Whitaker? Have you heard of that show? I didn't realize that was Bumpy Johnson. Like, he plays, so it's like all connected. I didn't realize that.
Oh, okay.
He plays Bumpy Johnson in that show. I guess maybe spoilers for that show where that's going. But, in the future, people can watch that show as a prequel to this movie, Did you spill something? Apologies for exposing you, but that's okay.
Sorry, I didn't want the wiping sound on the mic.
Oh, fair enough. And of course our dude Norman showed up for a scene.
Norman Reedus was in that for a bit, but then Chiwetel Ejiofor, he was
Oh yeah.
significant.
Oh, dude, I love that guy. Yeah.
Hold on, wait. Let me pull up the fucking list because there was so many people.
Dude, I need to shout out Idris's hat. You know that hat he wore in that scene where he died?
Mm.
It was an amazing hat. It was an amazing hat. Oh my god, he rocked it.
Cuba, obviously, as another big name.
Cuba.
RZA.
Sorry,
you know RZA.
No,
I don't know. It's probably Razor. I don't know. Yeah, pretty good. I've actually never heard his name spoken before, but he's a pretty good rapper, and he's also been in films and shit before.
RZA,
yeah. Oh, Carla Gugino, the wife, obviously. Common. Oh, I wasn't expecting to see Common there. Yeah, I didn't realize he started acting so early.
Yeah, same.
Who else do we have here?
Wait, was Common the guy? Hang on, or am I getting mixed up? No, Common wasn't in The Dark Knight. Who was the guy in The Dark Knight? There was that other guy in The Dark Knight. I think was a rapper in the scene. I'm talking about the scene with Jericho with the pencil. I can't remember. Oh shit, I could be wrong. That's not Common. I'm getting that.
No, yeah, no. Common was in John Wick.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. Norman, obviously. Who else? I don't know. Yeah, I was just like in big roles, and then just also like some of these other people that were still coming through, obviously at the time, like Norman. It was exciting stuff to see.
That was very exciting to see Sam Porter Bridges himself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Frank's family. Speaking of some of those people, Frank's family was an interesting addition into the film. How did you view, like, obviously, I mean, the relationship with his family is pretty straightforward as it played out in the film, but prior, you know how he contacts them and it sort of came across like he hadn't spoken to them in years?
Yes.
Like when he first rang? I thought that was interesting. It was kind of like, and then it was almost, I don't know, I don't think the film gave me information about that, correct me if I'm wrong, but I just, like, so what, he rang them out of nowhere to give them this amazing house. But like, what if you love them that much? Then why hadn't he talked to them? Or was it a situation where like he was going off the grid and because he was like didn't want to speak to them until he made it or something? I feel like there was something there that could have been interesting to explore. It was just odd that when he called, they were like, "Oh my god, it's Frank calling! What the hell?"
Yeah, I don't know.
And then he Frank calls for the first time in 10 years, and he's like, "Hey guys, I've got you a mansion."
I don't imagine it was that long. I imagine it's probably just more of a scheduled event that not scheduled, but I just imagine it's like a pretty regular, but like a sparsely regular like occurrence. Like every 6 months type thing.
Yeah.
Just given like the communication was back then.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Was it that time when Denzel picked up the phone and the other dude? Oh no, I think that was his cousin in Bangkok, I think. But when he picked up the phone and he was like, "Yo, it's me," and his cousin was like, "Who?" It's like, "It's me." Mate, can't you explain who you are? You're on a phone.
Yeah, he does that to his brother as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he does do it. He does it multiple
Yeah.
times. It's like, dude, I feel like at some point in your life, you got to learn how to like introduce yourself properly when you're on the phone. It's me. What? But yes, okay. God damn, there's so many scenes in this movie that
Yeah, it's
like I just
2040, so
that are just like entertaining. Like I don't
I
know.
think the raid at
Yeah.
the end was fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait. Are you talking about like? Oh my god, why can't I place that
Like
scene?
the final sting, like when they're all moving in on like the tower block.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they chase him through, like
Yeah.
through the
Well, it's more the setup than the actual like kind of result of it. Like, but like as they're all coming in and going up the stairs and they're all setting up and shit and they're pulling people
Oh,
aside
and they
everything.
they get the kid over and
Yeah, like
yeah.
all that was fantastic stuff, and then like the little shootout was probably a bit too messy
Yeah, I
to
agree.
read what was actually going on.
Yeah, I agree.
But like everything leading up to it, I thought was like really, really great tension stuff.
Yes, I totally agree. I think it was the same place too earlier in the film, same location. But like the scene I really liked was the weekend at Bernie's with the
Oh yeah,
corpse.
yeah.
That was really funny. That was really cool. And it showed us a bit of Russell Crowe's initiative as well. I liked that. But yeah, I was just gonna say like, there's so many scenes in this movie that are like just good or just entertaining, but like don't have a lot to read into. And I think that's like why I took for how long this movie is. I took shockingly few notes, just because, and it's like not knock against the movie. Really, it's just like usually I'd take way more notes, but it's just kind of like these scenes are all fun. I'm enjoying them, and that was kind of it. Like there just wasn't a lot to like really dig into in a lot of them, but you put this movie on and you have a good time. But I guess I'm saying this to say if we can think of any other scenes that are worth highlighting.
I really did like when they were searching the plane and like the expected relief being, uncut. Oh no, how do I say this? You expect there to be like that kind of release of the climax of them finding something, but they don't obviously. So like, I like that little subversion there because you're ready for them to like crack it all open. And like you see him going further and further into like opening the body bags, and then to be so close and pulled away,
Yeah, 100%. That was a good one. I for sure thought there wouldn't actually even be bodies in those.
Yeah.
So the fact that it was a body was already like oof. And then that was good because it made me understand where like the US Army guys who were like getting pissed off at them, like made me understand where they were coming from because that obviously did look really bad. In terms of defiling the coffins and stuff, but and then it also was good that they stuck with it because they were right in the end. And I mean, also solid effort from Frank Lucas to get the money in there with all the goddamn. I don't know. You got to like basically pull apart those entire contraptions and stuff it in. Pretty wild. I just liked overall the characterization of Frank Lucas, how Denzel played it in terms of like his philosophy, his mentality towards like running his business, and how he conducts himself on the street and his whole thing. Like Russell Crowe has that part where he sort of just explains how he does things and how he operates. And he explains it where like he basically operates like a totally normal dude, very antithetical to what the cops were used to looking at for gangsters at the time. I assume the Italians were the main comparison everyone drew in the movie, so I assume that's probably the best one. But in terms of like, he kept the regular schedule. He took his mum to church. He does this, he does that, all this. You wouldn't have if you were just watching him like we have been. You wouldn't know anything about him being a drug kingpin or anything. And that came through in like how he dressed and everything, and that became a plot point when he wore that extravagant coat.
Yeah, and he gets noticed for the first time.
Yeah, that was I liked all that stuff. I thought that was interesting. That was cool because especially he wears that coat for the first time to the boxing match, and that basically immediately gets him, like you said, gets him noticed, and that's bad news. It's sort of the first. I think it's sort of the first like sort of bad thing that happens to him. Really, I think in terms of like things start to unravel a little bit for him. And I love that scene then afterwards when he storms upstairs and grabs the coat and burns it. That was really cool. because it was like, yeah, and Denzel gave a great performance when he was staring at the fire in that scene because it was like you really felt like he needed to punish himself, for his mistake. Like he knew he shouldn't have done it, and he knew
Yeah.
exactly when it went wrong, what the problem was, and he was just really pissed off at himself, basically, for going against sort of his regular, staying away from the extravagant, and the vanity and all that kind of stuff. So I thought that was cool. And it makes perfect sense when just showed how committed he was, and he didn't, keep things simple, dress normally.
Mm.
I thought that was cool.
Why was he allowed to start his drug operation? Like, I thought the whole thing is that like I know that we're showing him like surpassing the mafia families, but like I thought the whole thing was that like the mafia families like ensure that no one can even get off the ground, without their approval or whatever.
Well, Bumpy was established, right?
Yeah, but Bumpy left him nothing. Like he wasn't. Not that he left him nothing, sorry, but like he didn't inherit the crime empire from Bumpy. He started it all on his own.
That's true, but I presume, yeah. There's probably some more real life stuff to that. That's true. You'd imagine Harlem was still Bumpy's territory in the day, so you'd imagine the Italians like that was.
Sure, yeah.
And so like maybe it would be considered. I'm just trying to. I've got this is complete speculation. I'd imagine, wouldn't it be if they were to try and make a move for Harlem after Bumpy's death, that would be considered like a war thing. They would be considered like an act of war in their world.
Yeah, right, maybe.
So like maybe they I don't know, maybe they did try, I don't know, but like I'd imagine like politically in their realm,
they just hadn't moved in yet, so he just could fill it.
Yeah, and maybe they weren't interested in doing that because that could have been a massive problem.
Right.
And they sort of maybe they just left it to sort out, whoever rises to the top, they sort of let the black community sort that out for themselves and take control there, because I don't know, there could have been more dramas. But no, you're right though. Like, yeah, you're right. He wasn't like named Bumpy's successor per se. But yeah, he did assert very quickly he did want to fill that role though, and he did. This is a really small thing actually, but when Richie got up at court in the end because when he's like, I became a prosecutor.
Sorry,
and Richie,
yeah.
Like, was he not really shit in court at the end? Like, didn't he start stumbling and shit?
Yeah, but like that's just he was nervous. I think he came into it quickly. Like even within that scene, didn't he start like correcting himself? And he.
Oh yeah, he did. Yeah. Okay. So was that meant to be like a 15-second arc of him like being nervous to be lawyer, but then hey guys, look, he found his ground. Okay, he became a decent lawyer.
Could be.
I just found it kind of odd. He like got up and he started stumbling right at the end of the movie. I'm like, hang on.
I just thought it was just him, just really becoming sure of himself as soon as he starts, like kind of. Because like obviously he's practicing his opening, and then like I think all his doubt pretty much goes away after he starts, and he realizes that he can nail him. I thought I read it more as that rather than it be him on his lawyer arc, but it could be. I don't know.
No. I like. Yeah, that makes more sense. I thought it's kind of silly the way I read it. But yeah, okay, no, that's cool. I've got some trivia. Well, actually, no. What did you think of the final shot of the film? In terms of Frank getting out of prison.
Well, the way he was standing there looking around, it made me feel like he's going to start everything again.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know if that actually happened. Probably unlikely, given how much he's going to be looked at, coming out and in the 90s when you got a bit more advanced stuff.
And that, yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It was fine. It was Frank looking at a new world.
Yeah, that's right. Frank looking at a brand new back alley. It probably looks exactly the same. Denzel looked exactly the same. I'll tell you that for free. But that's hardly surprising.
Well, I mean, you look at him in 2007 to now, which is 17 years.
Yeah,
and you look the same. So 15 years, in world.
Yeah,
it's accurate, to real life. So
yeah, that's right. Yeah, no, you're right. The shot, yeah, and him being free, that's cool. I guess I would have liked something a little bit more in terms of like I don't know, like where he came out, the view, something to sort of represent the changing world a bit more. Because you're like I got that sense from it, but only because I like did the math in my head of like, oh yeah, this would be the 90s now. I did that as well, but like. There was nothing that visually showed me that in an interesting way, really, or even like, sort of piqued that part of my imagination. which I feel like it should have done. Yeah, because like other than me doing the math, it was sort of just like he just walked out.
Sure.
So do better, Ridley. Okay. Oh, a little bit of trivia here. David Fincher was interested in making this film back when the script was still titled Superfly. Why would it have been called that?
Because he's super fly. Like you know how fly used to mean like cool back in the 2000s slang.
That's cringe.
You know, pretty fly for a white guy.
Okay. So it's referring to Denzel as, or to bloody Frank as being Superfly.
Perhaps, or it could be like a super fly on the wall. I don't know, as in like the ultimate snitch. You know, I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
I think both of it. I think it refers to Denzel though, the way that American Gangster still refers to him. And how like Superfly, I think, however you want to read it, does refer to it as still as Frank Lucas.
Well, I hate that title, but at least it has depth. But anyway, David Fincher and the studio could not agree on an appropriate budget for this film, so it didn't go ahead. And then I saw it was in development for a while, and then Antoine Fuqua came in and was going to direct it for a while as well, and went through a few different phases, which was interesting.
I can't imagine Fuqua directing a 2-hour 40-minute film, so we would have had a briefer product, I reckon.
I agree. Yeah, but this is a Ridley staple though. This one, this length. James Gandolfini was offered the role of Detective Trupo, which was Josh Brolin's part, but turned it down.
Interesting. Okay,
I can see it, but I thought Josh Brolin was great, so I didn't. Whatever.
The only thing I've seen Gandolfini is the night of.
See him in The Mexican.
He plays a lawyer. Oh, is he in that?
Yeah.
Okay.
The film you watched live on the podcast.
Yes. Yeah.
It was probably that movie was actually decent. He was one of the strong parts of that movie, I'll say that.
I remember pretty much nothing, I think, actually.
Oh, it's due a rewatch. We can get to Andy's review, I guess.
Yeah, I've got nothing, pretty much.
Cool, man. Andy said, I can confirm this is the first Ridley-Russell collaboration that I actually liked. Wow. Never felt the dread of the runtime at all, as the storytelling that goes back and forth between Russell Crowe and Denzel Washington's characters was immensely engaging. Here we go. Here's the parallel. Similar to Heat with Al Pacino and De Niro, I liked how these two never really meet, but only confront each other at the most vital moment. The change of momentum was rather unexpected because Lucas and Richie were suddenly like buddies working together, and it was wholesome. A question for the panelists. Which one of you would be silly enough to turn in nearly $1 million instead of keeping it for yourself? 7 out of 10. My DVD also has the extended version, so I hope to come across that in the future.
Oh, there actually is a director's cut.
Yes. Well, extended version, whatever. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, of course there is. Which one of us would do that?
You can't keep $1 million today, because it just shows up everywhere. Like, it's pretty much impossible unless you know what to do with it, and we both don't know what to do with it. Unless you know how to wash it, it's going to be found immediately.
Really?
Yeah.
But you don't make any big purchases. Like, do you reckon if I put $1 million in my cupboard,
you're going to keep it in your cupboard and just pull $100 from it every now and then?
Yeah. Like, do you think that's about
and you're going to have $990,000 in 2 years' time that you're going to have to move, to your next house or whatever?
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, that is tricky. Yeah. No, you're making a good point.
You can't keep $1 million today because it just shows up everywhere unless you know what to do with it.
Yeah, you need to be smart about that shit. But then, who do you hire to give you advice about that?
Well, you don't. You have to go straight into the criminal world. A financial lawyer is not going to help you with fucking stolen bills, man.
Well, of course not. Yeah, so it's okay. No, that's cool.
You tell a criminal some mob boss about you finding $1 million in unmarked cash.
Oh,
well, that's my cash. He's like, the fuck are you doing with it?
That's my cash.
And then you're fucked.
Exactly.
So
yeah, I've been looking for that.
Yeah, so you can't keep $1 million in the modern world unless you know what to do.
Yeah, unless you have some sort of money laundering operation ready to go.
Yeah. back in the fucking 60s, it would have been piss easy to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I'd do it in the 60s, but I wouldn't do it today. You can't do it today.
Oh, dude, you can do so much in the 60s. You could, like, kill someone in the 60s. You know what I mean?
But no security camera fucking hardly can do prints. You know, it's like...
Yeah, exactly.
So much thing can corrupt evidence. It's so easy. Like, it's... Dude.
I sometimes think, like, obviously I know plenty of people were killed for all of human history, right? But I sometimes think, like, if I was alive in, like, I don't know, the 14th century or basically pick any time beyond 100 years ago, right? I'm just like, why wasn't everyone just killing everyone? You know, like, I'm surprised that there was able to be some sort of civilization and order.
Because of religion and people scared of going to hell.
Religion, yeah. Honestly, you know what? Religion deserves a bit of credit then for that. Because I swear to God, if everyone was a pagan out there in the 14th century, dude, I don't know if there'd be anyone left.
I mean, there are people that are just like, oh, I don't believe in taking life because that's bad, and I think everyone should live.
Yeah, but then those people would be the ones killed first.
Yeah, but that's why religion holds back the savages.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's cool. I like that. So, wow, religion's really important. That's what I've learned. Nice. Okay, I think we're well and truly done with the film.
Yeah, I'm surprised we spoke for this long about it, to be honest. I had nothing going in, pretty much.
Yeah, no, I didn't have much. All right, very good. Final verdicts, Jaden.
Probably chuck a 7 on it. It was pretty decent, pretty fun all around. Pretty standard all around as well, which is pretty much what we've been saying.
Yeah.
7.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm right there with you. Slapping a big 7 on it. Strong 7 though, because again, I just emphasize, put this movie on. It's entertaining. You'll have a good time. I agree with that, but yeah, it's not like an amazing movie for me.
Do you want to theorize what Liam's score would be?
I reckon Liam, that kind of description I just gave, Liam's not into that. Liam's not into like it just being like he likes shit because it's fun, but it's usually because like he sees some like campy quality in it, or like I don't know, he has like this unique eye where like he can't, if something's just sort of bland, he's less likely to like it.
Sure.
So like he'll like things for having unique qualities or something, but. So as a result of that, I think he'd slap a 5 on it, to be honest with you. Ooh. Or maybe a 6.
I can say a 6, yeah.
He'd be lower than us, I reckon.
Yeah.
Because he all the things we were saying, he'd be like, oh yeah, well, that's just boring. That's just weird. Whatever. Probably. Or I could be wrong. Maybe slap a 9. It'd probably slap a 9 on it.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Let's get into news chat. Jane, how much of these Emmy results did you see?
Pretty much nothing. I think I saw that Bob won, I think, for guest episode. Guest appearance.
I didn't get that far. That's probably like halfway down.
I think Jamie won for guest appearance as well. For Forks. Not Forks. What's the one what's the flashback episode where he's throwing forks? Fish?
Wait, the 1 hour one?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I don't know what it's called.
I think Bob and Jamie both won for that, I think is what I saw. I think Jeremy won something as well. I think I saw him on stage giving a speech.
Yeah.
And then I think Shogun won like 14 times or some shit. It's like one of like the most like winning seasons ever.
Yeah. So I've got a list here. And like honestly, like the guest ones are probably quite low. I honestly didn't get to them when I scrolled the first time. But we'll see. I don't know. We'll see if we get there. Bloody best drama goes to Shogun, as I predicted. I think it was the obvious winner there. And then and the Shogun dudes won lead actors as well. Anna Sawai won best actress. Hiroyuki Sanada won best actor. Both, like I said, you know what I mean? Because I obviously, I've got amazing instincts about this stuff now. It was all pretty obvious. Yeah, that's all good, dude. I cannot thank the universe enough. Thank you, everyone out there. Thank you to the Academy of Television, or whatever they're called, for Hacks winning Best Comedy Series and telling The Bear to fuck off, finally. It doesn't belong in the category. It's not even the best in the category. and it's done. Thank you very much. Thank you. Hacks is a way better show, and it deserves it. And I feel like justice has been done, Jaden. This is what I've been talking about.
Okay.
I am passionate about this, clearly, and no one else cares. But it's true. Hacks is a way better show than The Bear. And it beat it. Proven. Very good. I was just more surprised, I guess. I thought The Bear was just going to win, and I was just going to roll my eyes. But I'm very pleased with that result. Yeah, but Jeremy Allen White did win Best Actor in a comedy series.
Yeah, if The Bear can't win for season 2, then I can't imagine it winning next year for
season 3.
Yeah,
agreed. Yeah, so does that? I don't know. Was it? Oh, I don't know if this was Hacks season 2 or 3. It was up against. Fuck, that's so weird. No, it would have been 3. It would have been 3. Yeah, because Hacks.
So Hacks is a season a year as well, is it?
No, there'd been 2 years between Hacks seasons.
Oh.
Which is actually non-CG. That's weird. Non-CG show.
Mm.
Oh shit! Throws a spanner in the works of the conversation right there. But Hacks season 3 was great, and Jean Smart won Best Actress. So fantastic. Okay. Eben won Best Supporting. Oh yeah.
I saw that too. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you any interest in watching this Baby Reindeer show that won Best Limited?
No, not at all.
Okay.
I did until like it shot to Netflix top 10 within a week. I was like, I know what it's going to be like then, and then I'm like,
yeah, I actually know exactly
what
you
mean. The list. Yeah.
Yeah, if it shoots that high that quick, it's like, oh, this is going to be like one of those annoying shows that everyone's grandma watches. Which sounded really offensive, but you know, I think everyone knows what I mean.
Yeah. No, I remember talking to Liam about it earlier in the year about like he's like, "Are you ever gonna watch it?" And I was like, "Yeah, probably not." Because and like I told him about like me taking off the list, and he's like, "Oh, I had a feeling, you would just do something like that." I was like, "Yeah, you know me well."
Yeah. Best directing for a limited series goes to Steven Zalian for Ripley. So I'd wonder what Fitzy thinks about that because he saw that. Christopher Story did win Best Directing for a comedy series, unfortunately, but it would have been for that episode.
So, all right. So, you may think Hacks is better, but do you honestly think that Hacks is better directed?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Yeah, I think for the story that the bear is attempting to tell, it's masterfully directed. You know what I mean? But I just think the story is kind of whack. Best. Oh, okay, no, that's not that. Best writing for a drama series goes to Will Smith for Slow Horses, but I presume it's not that Will Smith.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I'm still going. God, they got Best Talk Show series. Jesus Christ.
I think Hot Ones was. Is that what Hot Ones was nominated for?
Oh, Hot Ones was nominated. Wait, where? No, it's not there.
I mean, maybe it was just eligible, and maybe it didn't get nominated. But I remember like there was a big thing about that being like eligible since it was a YouTube show.
Gotcha. Okay, dude, this is bullshit. This is meant to be a Hollywood Reporter list of winners, and the guest stars aren't even on it.
Hollywood Reporter's been. I think even earlier when we were looking at one of the other results, like the Hollywood Reporter one was pretty short.
Yeah, God, I guess there are a lot more awards than these things. All right, well that covers that list. There you go. Happy with that. Congratulations to Shogun and Hacks, I guess.
And the bear?
No, definitely not. I mean, congratulations for losing. That's what I reckon. We got a Mickey 17 trailer, which Jaden watched. This is Bong Joon-ho's next film. And I watched like the first 20 seconds of this trailer just to hear Robert Pattinson's accent and then clicked off it.
Yeah.
It was pretty wild.
That's fair. I wasn't going to watch it, but then like as I was saying to you earlier, like it came up as an ad, so I was like, all right, it's too convenient to turn off. This looks a lot funnier than like a lot more like overtly funny and like attempting to be like, straight comedic to his other work. Like I know that Parasite and some of the other stuff, the host and is meant to be like comedic as well, but like it seems like it's going to be. It seems like those are more subtle in their comedy than what this one's going to be. I don't know. It's still like the whole class discussion that Bong Joon-ho loves to have in his films is ever present there, and this guy signing up to be an expendable. So it looks pretty standard, but a bit more funny, I guess.
It did look a bit funny. Yeah, I was struck by it being a comedy. I didn't really expect that. Or comedy-ish. I don't know if it's a full comedy or whatever, but this looked interesting. Yeah. And the only other thing was I saw the Squid Game 2 trailer. And so do you know anything about like what's going on?
No.
I just saw it was 3 years later, and like old mate, our dude's got to go back in.
He's got to go back
basically.
in.
Yeah, he's in the next Squid Game.
He's in the next Squid Game.
Yeah, it's like mocking. No, what's it called? Catching Fire.
It's a tournament of champions.
Oh, I don't know if everyone else has won before.
Okay.
Probably not. I don't know if that's possible. There's like 500 people, but yeah.
Yeah. That's a 3 year turnaround.
Yeah, it is. Are you keen for it?
Probably not, honestly. I think I'm kind of over it. I think I've seen enough YouTube Squid Games within these few years to satisfy me for the future.
Yeah, and what it's just a case of it being too long between seasons.
Too long, and like I don't really care about the story going forward. You know. Season 1 was quite fun and cool in what it had to present, but then like it feels like a show that was pretty much meant to be one season, but then studio kind of stepped in and said we can do more. Like I know they left it open, but I feel like that open ending was for the open ending was in case it was successful, and it just happened to be so. And I think that was like a studio request to keep it open rather than a writing, because it doesn't feel. I don't know. Doesn't feel like it needs to be continued at all, but you know, is what it is.
No,
yeah,
it could be awesome, but I agree with you. Yeah, I'm open to checking it out. I actually kind of, dude, I really thought Lee Jung Jae was great in The Acolyte. He was like one of the strong parts of that show. So like that, honestly, if The Acolyte didn't come out in the middle, like between the seasons, I'd be like, oh yeah, because I didn't love Squid Game like a lot of people did, so I was just kind of like, oh, okay, whatever, I might watch it. That honestly has boosted my interest a little bit, just because I thought he was so great, and it makes me sort of appreciate him more as an actor. So I might check it out. Let's get to our highlights of the week. Jaden, what have you been watching?
I watched a few things. I just want to quickly blast through a couple of them. I watched Tarot, which is this horror film from this year. That's god awful. It uses astrology as its like kind of horror element, which you know is meant to be fun, but like astrology is just such a joke and a piss take that I can't even take it. Like even when it like I can't even view it as like a horror element without just being like, this is so fucking dumb. Pretty bad writing, acting's very average, and like it's just overall so tame. If there was an unrated version that was a bit more bloody and explicit, it could maybe, but I don't know if I really want to if they do come out with that, I don't know if I really want to rewatch it, you know, for that.
Yeah.
Oh, the second Ghostbusters. Sorry.
Oh yeah, your favorite franchise.
Yeah, dude. Like, I can't get over how good Afterlife is. Afterlife is fantastic. Frozen Empire is not as good as it, but it's still enough within the, you know, bounds that I still enjoyed it a lot. I understand why. I was expecting it to be a lot. I was expecting it to be like a lower score overall, and I understand why it does have that. But I still think it's still pretty fun. It's still yeah, pretty great thing. But my highlight of the week is this 2011 film called Goon. It stars Sean William Scott, who's a comedic actor who's had his, you know, he's kind of had his thing here and there, but he's mainly known for playing Stifler in fucking American Pie. But Goon is fantastic. Like, it's a genuinely really good movie, and a really fantastic performance from William Scott. It's about like hockey and this guy who how much do you know about hockey?
Not much.
So there is a practice within hockey where it allows you to just fight people, where you just come on and you just bash shit out of each other. You go to the sin bin for a couple minutes and then you come back on. Like it is a practice and, like, you know, well recognized part of hockey that you just bash shit out of each other. So that's what the film is about. It's about, you know, this guy, this goon, who's really good at bashing people. and like his kind of rise through the amateur ranks, and
wow.
it's this is also based on a true story. But like so much of the comedic elements don't even come from. Well, like the script writing is quite funny as well, but like so much of the comedy just comes from the absurdity of this professional sport where people just drop the sticks for like 30 seconds at a time and just bash shit at each other. And it's like so fun to watch, and like aside from like the comedic like part of it, like William Scott gives like a great performance on the dramatic side as well, as you see this character kind of struggling. Like he's trying to be the best person he can be, and like he is sincerely sincere about that, and he's a great guy overall, and like you just see him trying to be great for everyone around him, and like it's a really nice kind of story for that. And it was just like a kind of complete shock, I was watching this because I was like looking for a dumb comedy, and it ended up being like a really nice story. But yeah,
I was gonna say, what drew you to it? That's interesting.
Yeah. I think Sean William Scott's fantastic. I love him in like Role Models and Final Destination. So he's what drew me to the film, and then it came on the stand a few months ago. So I was like, oh yeah, here we go.
Yeah, cool. Okay. Is it a Canadian film?
Yeah, he's a Yank, but he goes to Canada to play. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
This one actually does have real footage at the end of the actual guy, and like some of his hockey matches where he does just like get on there and just punch people, and it's class, man.
Oh, so I haven't really been. Yeah, I'm not much. I haven't been watching much. I just been still dabbling in shows. So I finished The West Wing season 2 after I think it took me 6 months. But it's 22 episodes, so I still love it. It's still awesome. I was hoping Liam was going to be here because I saw he gave was it the Network? Is that what that movie was? He gave it 2 stars, and I read that review that he liked about it. They were shitting on Aaron Sorkin, or like partly, is an aspect of it. And I read that, and I was like, oh, yeah. I can see what like the bit talking about Sorkin in that sense of like he just gets on his sort of high horse and just drones out dialogue. Yeah. I totally get that. I am self-aware of that at this point. I've watched enough West Wing, like almost 50 episodes to see that for sure. But it's just so good. And it's just so for me that I don't give a shit. Like it's arguably cheesy in some respect. I do get that. But if it's for you, which I mean, the show one, when it was airing, it won best drama at the Emmys like 4 years in a row, so like, it does a lot. It does a lot just outside of that. You can get on a monologue train sometimes, but I still think that they're so well delivered by the actors, and there's still so much going on in every episode that's so interesting that keeps you in. And then Martin Sheen is like, already this is like, I think I was in like almost 1/3 of the show, and Martin Sheen's performance is like one of my favorites of all time on TV now. So I'm all about embracing it for sure. I don't care. Bring it on for sure. So I'm looking forward to finishing The West Wing in 2027 and talking about it, of course, as a highlight once again then. Okay, now comes the segment where we hand the show over to you with our question of the show. Last week we asked you, who is your favourite American gangster? Now I've lost my place in the Discord because I was searching in it prior. Here we go. Dr. Luke says, Tony Soprano. Luke, give us an update. How's your Sopranos watch going? I haven't heard about this in a few weeks. Let us know. I don't know is he like deep now? I need to know.
I actually didn't even know I was watching it. I just heard it saying that it's just a bit of
No, he's been watching it. So this is now a backed up answer. Andy Lau said, my favourite American real life gangster is John Dillinger, aka Public Enemy Number 1. Hopefully Liam can follow it up with more interesting information to my response, if he feels like showing up for the next episode. So, Liam, any thoughts? Where's Fitzy? Where is he? Okay. Andy somehow predicted that. That's wild.
Mm.
Leanne wrote in and said, a great American gangster movie is Donnie Brasco. However, my favourite actors who have regularly played gangster roles are Robert De Niro, followed closely by Al Pacino. Their characters in Goodfellas and The Godfather are highly memorable. Occasionally, you get the bonus of both of these incredible actors in the same movie. Two examples of this are The Irishman and Heat. Yeah, I love them both as well, 100%. I haven't seen Donnie Brasco, though.
No, neither.
I think I need to check that one out.
Yeah. I remember I was at a family's house one time, and the end of it was on TV, and I was trying not to watch it because I was
I hate that. I hate
yeah.
that.
I'm not going to ask them to turn it off because I'm just like, I don't think I caught too much, but yeah, it was dangerous territory.
You know what I think of with that? My number one example that comes to mind of that is when I don't know if you were there actually. I'm not sure. Maybe you were. That we had that New Year's Eve at Henry's a few years ago, and The Great Gatsby was on. I think it was like the third act.
Uh-huh.
And I was just that was my version of that where I'm just like trying not to look at it. Still haven't seen it. Sorry, Leanne continues. In case I have misunderstood the question, though, my favourite American gangster historically would be Al Capone. This is not so much because I like him, but because he's probably the most well known. Yeah, no, don't worry, Leanne. We're not saying you love Al Capone. That's fine. I don't love Al Capone either. I don't really know much about Al Capone, to be honest with you. I've heard of him. I know Tom Hardy played him in that bad movie.
De Niro played him in Untouchables.
That's right. There you go. Blinks and all back together. Very good. Okay, Jaden, who is your favourite American gangster?
So I got two. I got a bit of piss takes. The first one is Lee J. Cobb's character in fucking On the Waterfront. Johnny Friendly. Okay. That's just a bit of fun with with that's my mates from high school. High school English.
Lee J. Cobb's great though.
Lee J. Cobb's fantastic. Yeah. But then it always bewilders me thinking back on it how we were able to have so much fun and just laugh at like just the lines and just some of the stupid shit that it's just some of the stuff in the movie like when repeated like from the mouth of a 16-year-old 17-year-old boy, it just becomes fucking funny.
Absolutely.
So I'll always love the movie for that, beyond being a good movie as well. And Johnny Friendly is is Johnny Friendly really a gangster though? I mean, he kind of he is. Yeah. I was just trying to think, is he just a bit of a union buster? But no, he's a gangster as well.
No, he's a gangster. Yeah.
But my actual answer is Oscar Isaac's character Abel Morales in
good answer.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Love it.
This book's fantastic. This is a fantastic film. We talked about it a couple of years ago. Just absolutely blew me out of the water. Everything about it, and not especially, but like Isaac on top of it all. And then even Chastain, as she kind of becomes more involved in it as well. It's fantastic, and oh, dude, it's just so good. I think a rewatch is warranted soon of that.
Yeah, I've been meaning to rewatch that for a year. I agree. Wait, what do you got slapped on it right now? 9. Yeah, I feel like I might. In my mind, it's a 9, but I didn't give it that at the time. I need to give it a rewatch.
We watched it Saturday, 14th of August, 2021 is when I have it marked.
2021?
2021, we did this.
It's been 3 years since we watched that movie.
Apparently.
That's fucking wild. Oh my God.
Jeez.
Holy crap, that's crazy. Okay. Yeah, that is definitely worth a rewatch. My answer is boring because it's like Leanne's, it's Michael Corleone. From, of course, specifically, Jaden, from The Godfather Part 2.
Oh, the bad one, you mean?
The better of the two Godfather films. Dude, Al Pacino's so good. So good. I love it. I love his whole performance, his whole arc. It's like, I don't know. Well, we already talked about it earlier. It's what you said about the morality arc that he goes on. It's so great because I don't know if like Goodfellas is like the traditional sort of rise and fall like career arc. Like Michael has like an interesting like I don't know, wait, would it be the opposite? It kind of is the opposite because he becomes more and more powerful.
Yeah, but he loses his family in doing so.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
So that's why it's like that moral arc. It's different, but I don't know. It's like a very great story. I love it. It's so well acted. And then, shout out, of course, to Christopher Moltisanti. Top tier Sopranos character, no doubt about it. I mean, there's multitudes of characters you can choose from The Sopranos that aren't Tony. I'm interested to see, Luke, who's your favorite Sopranos character that's not Tony so far? I'm interested in that.
Was it the thing that Liam likes the son like irrationally, and you when you're not meant to like the son?
No, he would argue the opposite. He would argue that oh my god, what's it? Oh, AJ is his name.
AJ, yeah, I was trying to think of it.
Yeah. Liam would argue that I'm nuts for not liking AJ.
Oh, okay.
So I want to get Luke's take on that as well. Actually, I mean, I don't know if Luke's seen enough. Depends how much Luke's seen. But yeah, AJ Soprano. I mean, he's not even a gangster, but he's annoying. He's a little shit for sure. Yeah, in terms of the gangsters, Chris is my favorite personally. Some great, Uncle Junior's great. Some quality answers out there. Bloody Steve Buscemi's character's great as well. But then you got shout out to Big Pussy just because he's Big Pussy. Shout out to him as well. He's great. But yeah, Luke, I need to know where you're at with The Sopranos. Please let me know. As always, we'd love you to submit your responses, thoughts, and or reviews for next week's film in the YouTube or Instagram comment section, or join the Discord server. This week, the specific question we'll be asking you is, what is the best Part 1 movie? The question is what it is, but Jane and I already got into a debate of what counts.
Not a debate. It was a healthy discussion. It was a healthy guiding discussion.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. And obviously, we'll leave it up to the audience.
The debate puts us out, but this was a collaboration.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're actually totally right. But we'll leave it to the audience to decide what you think counts as Part 1. It obviously comes from the fact of the film we're doing next week, which we'll mention in a second. But, books being split into 2 parts is a common one. Films being shot back to back, but then being released separately is another common one. But however you choose to interpret it, those are sort of the main criteria we were sort of going with in examples, and there's plenty of examples of those. So, let us know. What is the best Part 1 movie? Jaden, what the hell are we doing next week to fit that question?
Next week, we are doing Twilight Breaking Dawn?
Yep.
Yeah, Part 1, which will be on the services that the other ones have previously been on, which is Stan primarily.
Yeah.
And I can't recall.
I think Binge. Yeah.
Probably on Foxtel, yeah, sure.
I think it's on Binge and Foxtel, yeah. But yeah, mainly Stan.
Yeah, mainly Stan.
It feels like we did the other one way too recently, but...
Yeah. To think that we were only a week late on it, weren't we? But it feels like we only just did it.
Yeah. Yeah, it was 2 weeks ago today, yeah. So it'll end up being 3 weeks, that's all right. All right, check it out. Continue the Twilight Saga with us. We're into the end game now, baby. Breaking Dawn. Let's go. That was like fake enthusiasm, as you can tell. Okay. That's it. I appreciate Jaden for joining me, as always. Appreciate everyone listening. Have a great rest of your day and week, and goodbye.